So was it very much about the product first, or did you look at the overall business in terms, the manufacturing, the finance, etc., all the other parts of it?
I think when I went in, it wasn't quite sink or swim. Because I knew the three co-investors, I kind of took everything at 30,000 feet. Public transport, what's not to like? Buses, what's not to like? I went to school in an Alexander bus. This must be a great business. What I found was, basically a team that needed to be re-energised, a team that needed to be broadened in terms of skills and experience. And it's not about bringing everybody in from outside. There was some phenomenal talent inside that just needed, if you like, a bit of building up. So I did recognise that we had some square pegs, round holes, and in the first few months I had to make some tough decisions. It's never easy, when you have to make tough people decisions. We set out some pretty lofty goals. So I said to the team, I want to be £500 million of turnover in 5 years. So 3 times turnover in 5 years. So they all thought I was smoking dope. So we then sort of laid out how would we get there? What would we need to do in the UK? What would we need to do internationally? What could we go and buy? For example, should we make an acquisition in Australia, high margin market? And we came up with a close enough is good enough strategic plan. We launched our vision and mission statement, which was do the right thing. That was it. I had visions and missions coming out the yin-yang in my previous career, but I knew that we shortchanged customers, that people would use gaffer tape or duct tape when they shouldn't. Close enough was good enough. We had service engineers in estate cars. Not all of them had diagnostic computers because they were expensive, so they shared them. It was ridiculous. So there were some real simple basic things that we could do to support the customer. Basically steal with pride. Go and look at what your competitors are doing. What are they doing way better than you that your customers value? How can you be better at those kind of key things than your competitors, albeit further down the line? So we had some lofty financial goals. We got in about the basics. My sales director sadly passed away about a year after I joined the company. But that poor soul should have had knee pads and a flak jacket and a tin helmet, because his job was apologising for a rubbish performance. And we had to turn that on its head, right? If you want to buy cheap, then you're not going to buy from Alexander Dennis. Our value proposition was all about doing the right thing, backing your customer up until their nose bleeds. Actually apologising for some of the sins of the past, writing some cheques for some of the sins of the past where, frankly, we'd been caught with our fingers in the till. Right, in terms of not financially doing the right thing, but we actually made good on those things. Because the other thing, very, very quickly, a bus or a coach might be with its original owner for 15 to 20 years. It's a generational business. So if you screw something right up, you might be locked out for the next 10 or 15 or 20 years. Buy a car, you maybe keep it 2 or 3 years, or even a van, 3 or 5 years. But, people were regaling me of stories in 1990 when I did this, or 1995 when you guys did that. I said I'd never buy another one of your pieces of junk, blah, blah, blah. So the first couple of years was a bit of a baptism of fire. But, a bit of resilience, a bit of confidence, leading from the front, taking one from the team, all those kind of sayings, tone at the top, all that stuff. If you walk the talk, right, and you really just keep... anybody can batter through a brick wall 1 brick at a time, right? So that's what we kind of did first couple of years.